Hello, my name is Lauren McFadden, and I'm an associate professor in the College of Education and Human Services. Today, I am happy to introduce you to Nearpod, an interactive presentation tool that I began using prior to our shutdown in March. This presentation tool has really helped to keep my students engaged and learning the necessary content both in real time and at their own pace. One of the greatest features of Nearpod is the fact that you can use it live with your students or allow the students to complete the work when it is convenient for them. I have found myself creating many self-paced Nearpods, especially for my graduate students who are still teaching full-time and taking classes. As you can see, you can create a new presentation in Nearpod, or you can use an existing PowerPoint presentation or Google slideshow that you've created for your classes prior. For me, this has been invaluable. It's great to be able to add interactive tools that Nearpod provides to an already created PowerPoint instead of having to start all over from scratch. And as you'll see, there are many activities that you can add. On this slide, you'll see the various content that can be added, including videos, web content, 3D images, field trips, utilizing the graphing calculator, etc. And on this slide, you'll see the various activities that I began talking about and that students really seem to enjoy. There are polls that can be added to your presentation, open-ended questions, quizzes, drawings, which are great in math and science, the collaborate feature, which I'll show you some examples of, just to name a few. And it seems to me that over the past few months, Nearpod is looking to add additional activities as they have been getting a lot of feedback from teachers who are using it, and they've been very open and adding. For instance, Flipgrid, which is a popular recording tool, was just added and seamlessly integrated into the Nearpods. This is just the example of a Nearpod that I put together, again, using an existing PowerPoint that I had. And as you can see in the slides, at the bottom, there's a black bar. That means that I've recorded narration on those slides for my students. You can see that like a typical traditional PowerPoint, you can add pictures and words. And then you can see like on slide 4 there, it says web content. And that's where I've uploaded a video from the web for students to see. On this slide, you'll see, again, more images, more slides, and then you'll see that it says open-ended questions and more web content. The open-ended questions would be just that, where a student would be answering an open-ended question based upon the information. So a formative assessment within the middle of your presentation, again, which could be used in a self-paced or live. And on this slide, just again, some other tools that I added, like a collaborate board, which I'll show you an example of in a minute, and a Flipgrid as well. So this, I think, is important for teachers to keep track of who's participating and how they're doing in terms of their participation, especially if you're really trying to gauge their understanding. And this report comes with every Nearpod that is done, whether live or self-paced. And as you can see, it will track the participation rate of students as outlined in this graph here, but then you can also click on open-ended, collaborate, and Flipgrid, which were the activities that I had added in, and you can see their individual contributions to those activities and grade them accordingly in terms of how they responded to those activities. This is an example of an open-ended question that my students were given and their responses. Again, that comes to you on the website. You just click on reports. You can download the report as a PDF. You can also download individual student reports and send those to the students if you would like, which is a helpful tool. This is an example of my students using the Collaborate feature. And what's great about this feature is, in this case, they were posting a piece of assistive technology that they had researched, and we're putting a picture of that. And students can comment on each other's and obviously also can learn from each other on this particular slide when they read about each of the technologies, which is different from the technology that they had learned about. This is just an example of a Flipgrid that was added to a Nearpod. And as you can see, in this case, students had to also react and comment on their peers' Flipgrids. And this is all done through video. So if we clicked on Casey, we'd be able to see her video, and then we'd be able to see the 3 peers that responded to her and what they had to say about what she added. Again, the thing that I love about it is it's seamlessly integrated into the Nearpod, so it's very easy for you to access all of this information. Another great feature of the Nearpod is the notes feature. So on an individual slide in the right-hand corner, you'll see a little pencil. And if your students click on that and add any notes on the slides, at the end of the presentation, they will be sent a PDF document with every single slide, any live links that you have on those slides, as well as the notes that they took. So it's a great tool to help them study. There's also a content library that has already made presentations. That's not as useful at the collegiate level, although I think more will be added over time, but very helpful in the K-12 setting. I think that this is a great tool for a lot of us to use. If you have any further questions, I know I've already doubled my time that I was supposed to take, but please feel free to reach out to me. My students have given me great feedback on this presentation tool. They really like it. Again, whether it was live in class because they said, it forced them to pay attention, knowing that there was going to be an open-ended question, knowing that there was going to be a drawing that they had to do, or knowing that there were going to be quiz questions infused throughout or polls. Rather than in a traditional lecture where you're just calling on 1 or 2 students, all students are forced to participate. The other thing that I neglected to mention earlier is if you are doing it live with your students, if you advance the slide on your screen, it will automatically advance on their screen. So that's a cool feature as well to make sure that students are on task with you as you go through your presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, Lauren McFadden, so it's lauren.mcfadden@shu.edu. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about Nearpod and look forward to hopefully even sharing some Nearpods in the future with you.